Imagine a stone so rare, so brilliant, that it has sparked wars, built fortunes, and symbolized eternal love. Yet, for over a century, one company controlled nearly every facet of this glittering world. De Beers, from dusty South African mines to the hearts of romantics worldwide. De Beers didn't just mine diamonds, they engineered desire itself. This is the story of the De Beers diamond monopoly, a tale of ambition, manipulation, and inevitable cracks in the facade. Our journey begins in the late 19th century amid the sun-baked plains of South Africa. In 1867, a child's chance discovery of a shiny pebble near the Orange River ignited the world's greatest diamond rush. Thousands flocked to Kimberley, digging feverishly into what became known as the Big Hole, the largest hand-excavated pit on Earth. But chaos reigned as supply flooded the market. Crashing prices. Enter Cecil Rhodes, a shrewd British entrepreneur who arrived in 1871 not to dig, but to profit from the diggers. He started by renting water pumps, then bought up small claims, amassing power. By 1880, Rhodes had formed the De Beers Mining Company, named after the farm where diamonds were first found. His rival, Barney Barnetto, controlled the nearby Kimberley mine. In a ruthless showdown, Rhodes outmaneuvered Barnetto, merging their operations in 1888 to create De Beers Consolidated Mines Limited. This wasn't just a company, it was the birth of a monopoly. By 1889, Rhodes struck a deal with the London-based Diamond Syndicate, ensuring they bought all of De Beers' output at fixed prices, stabilizing the market and squeezing out competitors. Rhodes dreamed big, using diamond wealth to fuel British imperialism, but his death in 1902 left the empire in capable hands. Ernest Oppenheimer, a German-born diamond trader, joined the board in 1926 and became chairman in 1929. Under Oppenheimer, De Beers absorbed threats like the Premier Mine, home to the massive Cullinan diamond, and expanded globally. By the 1930s, De Beers controlled 90% of the world's rough diamond production. Their secret weapon, the Central Selling Organization, CSO, a cartel that funneled nearly all diamonds through a single channel in London. Producers signed exclusive contracts or faced flooding of the market with cheap stones, ruining their value. De Beers stockpiled surpluses in vast vaults, creating artificial scarcity. As Oppenheimer once said, the only way to increase the value of diamonds is to make them scarce. But control over supply was only half the battle. Diamonds aren't essential, they're luxuries. In the Great Depression, demand plummeted and prices tanked. De Beers needed to manufacture desire. Enter the advertising geniuses at NWAR and Sun in Philadelphia. In 1938, Harry Oppenheimer hired them to target American consumers, where diamonds were seen as ostentatious. The agency's research revealed a goldmine: link diamonds to romance. In 1947, copywriter Francis Jarity, exhausted after a long day, jotted down 4 words: "A diamond is forever." It became the slogan that redefined love. The campaign bombarded magazines, radio, and films with images of starry-eyed couples, whispering that a man's love was measured by the size of the rock. Hollywood stars like Marilyn Monroe were enlisted, and product placements in movies glamorized diamonds. Before this, engagement rings were rare. After, they became mandatory. By 1941, diamond sales in the U.S. had surged 55%. De Beers exported the myth globally. In Japan, where diamonds were unknown for engagements, campaigns portrayed them as Western modernity. By 1981, 60% of Japanese brides wore diamond rings, up from 5% in 1967. Later innovations included the Eternity Ring for anniversaries and the right-hand ring for independent women. "A diamond is forever" wasn't just a tagline. It was voted the best ad slogan of the 20th century by Advertising Age. The monopoly thrived through cunning deals. When Soviet diamonds flooded from Siberia in the 1950s, De Beers bought them up at premiums to maintain control. In Botswana, They formed De Beers in 1969, sharing profits but keeping distribution reins. De Beers even navigated wars. During World War II, they supplied industrial diamonds to the Allies while hoarding to prevent Axis access. But cracks appeared. Antitrust watchdogs circled in 1945. The U.S. Department of Justice sued De Beers for monopolizing industrial diamonds, though the case was dismissed due to lack of U.S. jurisdiction. Decades later, in 2004, De Beers pled guilty to price fixing with General Electric, paying a $10 million fine. A 2008 class action settlement cost $295 million for overcharging U.S. buyers. In Europe, the Commission forced De Beers to stop buying from Russian rival, Alrosa, by 2009. Then came the blood diamond scandal. In the 1990s, civil wars in Angola, Sierra Leone, and Liberia were fueled by conflict diamonds, gems sold by rebels to buy weapons. Global Witness exposed how these stones entered the legitimate market through De Beers channels. In 1999, reports linked De Beers to buying from UNITA rebels in Angola. Public outrage mounted. Hollywood's Blood Diamond film in 2006 amplified the horror. De Beers responded by halting purchases from conflict zones in 2000 and championing the Kimberley Process Certification Scheme in 2003, which aimed to track diamonds from mine to market. Critics argued it was too little, too late, and loopholes persisted, but De Beers spun it as a virtue, pledging ethical sourcing. The 21st century brought existential threats. New mines in Canada and Australia bypassed De Beers' cartel. Russia's Alrosa and others built independent channels. By 2000, De Beers' market share dipped to 63%. Then, lab-grown diamonds exploded, identical to natural ones, but cheaper and ethical. In 2018, De Beers launched Lightbox, its own synthetic line, starting at $200 per quarter carat, a defensive move against disruptors. But by May 2025, they discontinued it amid plunging prices. The Oppenheimers exited in 2011, selling to Anglo American for $5.1 billion. Today, De Beers holds about 30% of the market, focusing on branding like Forevermark and retail stores worldwide. Yet, the legacy endures. De Beers didn't invent diamonds, but they invented the diamond industry. As we know, it turning rocks into symbols of unbreakable bonds. Their monopoly shaped global trade, sparked ethical reforms, and taught a harsh lesson. Even the hardest empires can fracture. As you gaze at your sparkling diamond ring, remember, behind every forever is a story of control, cunning, and change. Diamonds may be eternal, but monopolies are not. Subscribe for more epic stories of business empires. Hit the bell for weekly history documentaries.